Hello everyone. So we're filming this on Sunday the 15th of December, and it's 2 weeks since the festival, and we thought this would be a good time to reflect on how well it went. And as you can probably tell, we're still a bit fatigued from it. Because it was an absolute disaster, wasn't it? I'm sure the people who went there, they're all the ones who gave us positive feedback and said it's our best festival yet. The ones who said it's the best festival the UK's ever had, they all probably had a brilliant time. But for us, it was supposed
I
to.
wouldn't say it was a disaster, but it's the hardest one
We've done.
we've
It was certainly the most stressful
Yes.
because a lot of things sort of
Went wrong. Lots
Yes.
of things went wrong, but I don't think people noticed, so that's the good thing. Really.
Yeah. So should we start listing off the things that went wrong? So we always film these recaps every year. Actually, I used to write them, and then film. Makes things much easier. So yeah, first of all, everything bad luck comes in threes. For us, it was about 4 or 5. First of all, Nick couldn't make it because of his college course changing their criteria, so he couldn't travel to us. I think we managed to cope with that reasonably well, especially with Deanna basically teaching by herself and being able to extend workshops X and Y. Also, Sarah and Tara really stepping up to demo and basically go around in Deanna's open workshops helping people, so everybody still had that time of a teacher. So
yeah, so I think Deanna's obviously taught by herself a lot and is very competent teaching on her own, but it's just in the larger workshops when there's that many people, making sure that everyone gets something.
There were 70 in the...
that's a big workshop.
Yeah. So, thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Sarah and Tara. And then I think it was a week to go.
Oh yes, it was a week. Yeah.
Then Eduardo pulled out after not recovering fully from his surgery. So again, that was a bit of stress. But again, thank you to Sarah and Tara for stepping in on that and basically coming up with some content that would meet the time dilation and making the hero move. Again, from the feedback we've had about those workshops, those seem to have went very well as well, and obviously shows off. Sarah's was ill during that, so I took some of the teaching load off her for that one, or most of the teaching load. But again, thank you for coming in with that lurgy. But especially in the one with Tara, I think quite a lot of people saw just how good teacher Tara was as well, which was again very positive and shows that our teacher training goes well. So that was a pain. So the third thing that went wrong, so some of you probably wouldn't have realised this. I ordered the curry for the wrong day.
We found this out on the Thursday.
Yeah, I had a message on the Thursday going, so we're ready to set up for the curry tomorrow evening. What time? Don't you mean Saturday? Because I've managed to tell them totally the wrong date. I told them the date for next year. So we nearly had quite a curry for 100 on the Friday night. So that was purely my fault.
It was? Absolutely.
So massive thank you for Goggies for managing to rearrange. And
they did an excellent pivot, and they were brilliant as usual. They brought in extra help. Amber came to help, and she was amazing. Yeah,
that's because Goggies were due to go up to Birmingham with their family.
Yes, and
on the Saturday.
They definitely could not reschedule that. So so it was great. They came, dropped everything off. They're still as professional as usual. They just didn't do the serving. Again, Tara helped serving. I was serving.
And Tim.
And Tim was serving too. So yes, thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
So yes, it was quite nice. Just it's like potato cutlet, bhaji. Probably the simplest thing I did all day.
Yeah. Skills of a
multi-purpose skills.
Yeah, skills of a Tango organiser.
Yeah.
You're able to serve curry.
Yes.
I bet no other organiser in the UK has said that.
Yeah.
What else went on? Oh, power.
Power.
So one thing that we struggled with this year was rooms. So we couldn't get. We would ideally just like to use the same room for all 3 days because then we could just leave it set up. Unfortunately, due to other bookings of the rooms, we weren't able to do that. So we had a new venue for the Friday, which was it's a room called Fusion. It's a room downstairs. Went in on the Friday to start setting up. Actually went on Thursday night after our class to clear it, and then went in on Friday to put our stuff in. Everything was going well, up until the point where we thought, probably should do a sound check and plug the amp in. Yeah, no power in any of the power sockets.
Well, there was
one power socket was working.
And that was sort of slightly hanging
dodgy.
out of the wall as well.
So that was a bit of a stress. Luckily, the technician from
Student Union came over again. Thank you to the Student Union, they were very helpful that morning.
And we managed to find the fuse box and turn everything on. Who turns off the fuse box for a room in
and when all the fuses the wrong way round. And, the usual thing.
Yeah, maybe that's why they were all off.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a pain and a bit of stress as well. Hopefully you didn't see that either.
Yeah.
And obviously this year we had Kimmy's Creations come along as well. And I think they had a successful weekend. We'll talk a bit more about them later. But obviously they had a bit of an issue with all their setup as we were moving floors, and the lift isn't particularly good. They did like the cage trolleys that we were able to get for that. So being able to do that moving, it also meant that during the Friday night we had to disappear about 10 o'clock just to go and start moving the tables in the rooms upstairs. It also meant that because of the rooms, we had to move on the Sunday as well to the smaller of the two rooms, which again required help in the takedown. So again, thank you to all of our class members who helped that. So Ben, Tara, Amelia, for doing that. Oh, and also say thank you to Margot and Sarah as well for doing all the goodie bags.
Oh yes.
And watching Strictly Eating Pizza.
We do feed our helpers.
Yes, slave labour otherwise, but
yeah, you do get fed.
Those were some of the things that were
going wrong in the background.
Throughout, and also what went on was I managed to spill a load of soup over me.
You did. In the middle of a workshop, yeah.
Yeah, don't do was it Tango Yoga as well? The one where
I think it was the next one.
I think it was still the Renzo Gang, because it was all meant to be serene and calm and flowy, and then a big crash in the background as I dropped a. It was on a Sunday this year we served we found a vegan and gluten-free tomato soup to serve because people were saying about not being so carb heavy and stuff. Now this was back from the feedback from our New Haven festival, so we did something different there. We have a soup kettle. We actually did this in May, we did soup, but because it was of the increased numbers, we used a soup kettle, but the soup kettle wasn't suitable for just heating the soup from cold, so we put them into slow cookers first, and while moving one of the, from the slow cooker to the soup kettle, managed to drop the
pan slipped.
Yeah, with half an amount of soup in it.
Yeah.
It's a
good thing it's a wooden floor, isn't it?
Wooden floor, yeah. Thank you to Ben and Tara for stepping in to help clean that up ultra quickly as well. But
right in the doorway as well. Right in the doorway.
Yeah. Oh, and the fire alarm as well.
Oh, and the fire alarm went off, yes, which is always fun for me because I'm the fire warden, so I actually do have to get people out. And obviously we had a room full there. There was a room full of dancers next door.
So this was during Workshop X and our
workshop.
Tango Zig Fusion workshop. Just as we were about to start the fire alarm. So trying to get everybody outside, and of course that's when it started raining as well.
Yes, apologies, you have to go outside in your dance shoes, but that's what it is. A fire alarm's a fire alarm. You never know if it's real or not. Luckily, it was not real. It was just a fault or something.
And then that pushed everything back by about 20 minutes. That then pushed Wayne's talk back by 20 minutes, and it also pushed back the start of the longer by a bit. But that was fine because Tango Calore were caught in traffic on the M4 as well, so it all worked out, I think. The good things about the festival, though, pretty much everything else. People seem to have really enjoyed the workshops. We always have like a mix of workshops suitable for all levels. The workshops that to try and make you think, especially things like that time dilation one, what would have been the Nick and Deanna's, what to do when your follower turns their back on you, so we call it shadow hold. From what Deanna actually called it, was something posterior cantra or something that she called it.
I don't know, I didn't see see any of the workshops apart from the one I was teaching.
Yeah.
So I was busy doing other things.
So it was a workshop that makes a chance. Obviously we'll talk a bit more about inclusivity later, but it's one of those things like we don't want to pick workshops, titles, and subjects which sort of anybody could teach them, or just gets covered in a weekly class. Obviously, we do have some workshops that do that, but if you're having some of the world's best teachers come along, you probably should do something which only they can teach, or can teach in like detail. Take people out of their comfort zones. We know that might put some people off because they look at a workshop. I don't know what that means. It's weird. Like, as a scientist, if I see something I don't know what that means, I go, maybe I should find out what that is and be able to do it so I become better at whatever I do. But we know some people don't do that.
It just depends on people's comfort zones, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, that's part of the festival, is to try and take people out of that comfort zone and put them into a new place. So workshop went well. Food was very well received again. We always put lots of food on, so people enjoyed the breakfast, all the different types of food that we put out. A lot of people grateful for the gluten-free vegan stuff that we put out, and having large quantities of that.
Sweets,
yeah. And also the constant supply of food, as there's food out throughout the entire festival. We did have some people saying about why is there so much sugary food, like cakes. So we leave that stuff out during the workshop. So if you are in that 10-minute break between weeks, you can grab something, and we choose high sugar just because it's going to give you instant energy boost. We then serve the more savoury, long release sugars, like the fruits, the
breads and stuff,
breads and cheese in the breaks. And there was one of those on the Saturday. There's lunch on the Sunday. There's breakfast. So it's about trying to balance that as well.
And also with things like cheese, we don't want to leave it out for too long. Hence why it's left out for a certain amount of time and then it gets replenished. It's just although we don't want to use food waste. Obviously, we can't leave things out for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. So
and if you did want to, you would just come and ask us, and we would.
Yeah. And also there is other facilities within the building, especially at this time of year. Everything's open. There's other times of year not everything's open because it's in holiday periods, but there were other options as well.
Yeah. We also had the question: why is it ham?
Oh yes, that's a good point. Maybe we should buy sliced chicken.
There is a reason for the ham. Is because one, it's reasonably cheap. Secondly, it's actually in the shape which is convenient for the rolls
for bread rolls,
and bread we serve. And secondly, there isn't that many ethical issues with serving the ham compared to sort of chicken, which can be battery farmed and all that sort of stuff. So it's about trying to weigh up that as well.
But we all look into that, I think. See
we all
find
look
any
into that.
other options.
Food went well, workshop went down. Malongas, people really enjoyed having the live music. We know live music isn't everybody's tastes. They want to have certainty of what music is being played, and again, we want variety to make everybody feel welcomed. Gary and his trio were very well received on the Friday. Bear in mind that they're not a usual band, they're a group of professional musicians that come together to play. So people were amazed that they were just doing it from sight reading and the quality of that, but true professional musicians, jazz musicians, playing a whole range of different music, people dancing all evening. Was a little bit worried about how busy that room was getting. Little Rumba, obviously really good, well-known track record of playing tango events, and Tango Color. That was quite a way to end the festival. They were absolutely fire, playing through. Looking forward to Tango Color coming back for next year's festival to close it out on the Sunday again, and also they're coming in May for our spring weekend. So if you want to book onto those, we would encourage you all to book onto our events early, because again, it relieves the stress for us. It gives us more, and it also gives you a chance to plan out as well. And we have got 3 festivals next year. We have with that pass, which if you're watching this from the letter or from the email we send out to you all, there's be links in there to book on. So book on early for those. Relieve stress, gets you better value for money as well. DJing the Malongas, that seemed to go well. We managed to get the sound right, especially for Sean's set this year, because last year we didn't quite get the EQ on the amp right, and for some parts it was a bit too screechy, some parts it was too bassy. This year we managed to get the EQ profile right, which was good for that. Wayne's set again good mix of music going there. Complemented all the bands well. And I didn't have to do much DJing on the Sunday because the band played quite a little bit. And I got to mix in some Christmas songs. As sort of cortina-y type things. But people were dancing for them. So if I see people dancing during the cortina, I will not cut the cortina short. I will I'll let the whole track run. Just because people enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think particularly with Christmas songs, it gives people the opportunity to dance other dances like salsa or jive or something. So people are getting into that. That's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah. Friendliness. Again, lots of people complained on how friendly the event was. That's one of our goals. From our point of view, the festival should be based on giving people a really good experience and looking after them. So that was people commented on the Friday about having just the bench seats around the outside and not having quite enough seating, which meant that people had to change seats and get to know people and speak to people, and then that made a better atmosphere for the rest of the festival. So that was good. We don't particularly like that. We like people coming in big groups. That's why we offer you a discount. But we also like people interacting and not getting those
new people.
Yeah, and also giving people opportunity to find out about other things that go on around the country. So, friendliness I think we covered. Inclusivity. This is always a very difficult one because you can never have a truly inclusive event. But it's something we try to really build into the festival. So inclusivity covers a whole range of things. So for us personally, it's about having a good mix of traditional and new wave music. If you know us, we're not a massive fan of traditional music, and we won't go to events that play any traditional music because we really can't cope mentally with it.
Well, it's just not our thing. That's our personal choice. But as teachers,
but it's not really our personal choice. It's a taste, isn't it?
Well, personal taste.
Yeah, and therefore having events that don't try to make any concessions to help us dance or make us feel welcome, that's a problem. So that's our first thing, have equal amounts of both. You may not like new wave of music, but then there's plenty of trad music for you to dance to as well. It's about bringing those people together. We have more of the role swapping and queer tango. Again, we think that's very important to sort of highlight. And again, we've had nice comments about people from people saying it's nice to come to an event and they can just be who they are with no pressure to conform to a role, or they can swap. And that was good. One thing we had from Kimmy Creations was she'd never seen an event with such good role balance between it.
Yes, that's right.
And bear in mind, we don't discriminate.
No,
so
we
there's
don't.
no part of the
We have no waiting list.
We find it really, I think it's pathetic when we see events saying we're pausing followers. Now, wait till you see normally women commenting, I need a man to... and
I've spoken to women about this, and they do not like having to go online and plead with men to get them to book on. It's just kind of really quite... It's not a nice place to be. So I think the fact that we don't do that, you just work hard to try and find more leaders or attracting people who do dual roles. So it means you don't have to necessarily be...
Or put on an event that actually attracts leaders.
Yes, true, that's very true.
Which actually comes back to the new wave of music again. Trying to get that inclusivity, allowing people just to have that ability to dance with whoever they want for however long they want.
I think that's another thing, isn't it, about like tandas as well. Some people might not be able to dance 3 dances in a row with somebody, so not having that pressure to do that and just do 1 dance, 2 dances, that's fine as well.
And all that opportunity to just go and sit out in another room for a bit and chat and eat and so that was I think got the inclusivity part right.
I suppose it's more because we actually focus on it as a social thing, not necessarily purely everyone is going to dance all night and that's all you're going to do. Whereas actually we understand that really the majority of people want to dance for a bit, have a chat, eat a bit, have a cup of tea, go out and dance again. They don't necessarily, there are people out there that do want to dance the entire time, that's fine, but quite a lot of people...
that's how being inclusive though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But there's some people who want to just, have more of a social experience.
So I'm just going to put a fire on the log on the fire.
Log on the fire.
And not trip over all the cables.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also part of this was because we lost the performance from Nick and Deanna because we didn't have a Nick. We did a snowball and also a waterfall. So one of the discussions I was having before the festival with especially role swappers was how do you let people know that what roles you dance? And the responses I had, and I put this on Facebook, my friends, oh, you should just watch what people are doing. But if you're new to dancing and people don't know you and you aren't being asked to dance and you're not on the floor, how do people see what you do? It's a kind of, oh, but people should get to know you after a while. But again, that's a horrible attitude to really have to.
Well, it's a similar thing to followers, isn't it? That you have to sort of earn your dances. You got to be around. You got to sit out for however long before you can, which is an awful ethos in itself.
Yeah. So that was the idea of the waterfall, because you can swap from side to side for if you're leader or follower, dance with lots of people, and then for people can actually see you. And also the other thing about, people should sit out and watch whatever people are doing. What you should sit out and judge people is, again, not a nice sort of attitude to have towards things. Sorry about sound a bit negative if you're one of these people, but from our point of view as organisers and trying to make everybody feel welcome, it's important for us to try and address all this. Then we had the snowballs. So we don't like teachers' dances at festivals because they're always a bit cringy, because you always get the same sort of thing. You get the multiple teachers on the floor, and then there's always going to be a bit
messy as well, because there's so many people. Who do you watch?
And then they start swapping partners. It's we didn't really want that. And also, we've also noticed when people do that and you've got multiple teachers, we pick our teachers for teaching ability, not necessarily their performance skills. So something like Deanna is always going to, perform and make everybody else look back. So we didn't really want that, and so we decided I tried to pitch it as we were about to do that, but then obviously we changed it straight into a snowball after about 30 seconds, where when we called change for the word, you'd expect the couples to change partners to actually go and pull people from the audience and get everybody onto the floor dancing. People seem to really
like
good
feedback for that. I think it got everything going again after we'd had the little break for the speeches and stuff. And I think as well, you could grab people that you didn't know, or you hadn't danced with yet, all that sort of thing. So I think it did work. I had good feedback for that as I was leaving the room to go and do something else. The one dance that I did was that one.
I had more dances this year.
I unfortunately, because I got left on my own a lot this year, which made it harder for me, because you were a teacher, because you were out of the room covering the Eduardo workshops and demoing in Deanna's workshops. It meant that I had to run everything else on my own. So things that I wouldn't normally be responsible for, like getting the band from downstairs upstairs, getting the curry when that was delivered, that's usually your job. Suddenly I had to do that on top of all the other things I was doing. And also I had to drop people off, pick people up and things, which meant I was out of the room for 3/4 an hour or whatever. And then I had to come back in and pick back up all the things that needs to be done again. So yes, apologies if you didn't really see a lot of me. Apologies I didn't dance with anybody. I didn't see any of the workshops, but I was just working super hard in the background, refilling water, resetting food, cleaning up, all these things that you have to do in the background in order for everyone to have a good time. So yes.
So just some ancillary stuff now. Having the 2 rooms, especially on a Saturday next to each other for the whole day, that worked well. We did that in the Nuevo Festival where we trialled it, and so that should be staying from now on. Hopefully.
Room bookings.
People really liked the fact that we sent the video out to show you where to park.
Yes, I did get a lot of good feedback for that from people that to understand how to get to the room and all that sort of stuff.
Money and costs of everything. So prices are going up. Inflation in the UK has been high for a couple of years. It's obviously dropped back down, but just the price of putting anything on and is gone up. So we did have an email say somebody asking to do something, and they go, "No, that's too expensive." Yes, it is getting expensive to run these sort of things. We've still tried to keep it as good as value as possible. We are professionals, so we do need to try and make some money from this
Yeah.
as well. But there are ways to help us bring costs down for you. So first of all, when we price off in our festival passes, we try to look at what other events like weekenders would charge. So we've seen other weekends with big couples that might have accommodation charged on it.
Yeah.
So what we try to do with our price is, because we don't price accommodation, we look to see what price of an Airbnb is next to the venue, and it's normally about £40 to £45 a night. So £80 a night for a couple, or for 2 nights for a couple. So we try to price our festival as whatever the price is for the top level workshops. So that's like a full pass 2 or 3 with a couple exclusive workshops in it with Nick and Deanna. You add your £80 onto that, and then there's normally should be enough money to have about a private lesson with one of them as well. So that's how we try to pitch our value. Obviously we feed you throughout as well.
Yes.
We also try to encourage you to come as groups, because that way you can speak to people, to arrange car shares, and also then you can get sort of house Airbnbs, which again work out cheaper.
Instead of buying room by room in hotels.
Yeah, which can bring down the price massively. And we also offer you discounts if you do book in a group of 3 or more.
Plus we have early bird.
Plus we have the early bird as well. So if you're organised, and you can commit, and you're actually willing to speak to friends and help us with getting those extra people in, then that helps us keep the price lower. We've also got just come to our events, our classes.
You regularly come to our classes in Swansea or our events in Mackin and just outside Cardiff. If you come enough, you get discounts. So the more you support,
and bear in mind those classes are free.
They are free, yes. They're all donation
as one person said, well, you'd have to be a complete idiot not to do it.
So they're all donation based, so you pay what you want or what you're able to, and that's absolutely fine with us.
So there's really no excuse for saying that the festival is too expensive for you. Well, there is, but there are ways.
There are ways to bring costs down for yourself.
Yeah.
But obviously, we understand that not everybody can afford to go to everything at the moment.
Yeah, just prioritise coming to ours instead. Anything else?
The stalls.
Oh, the
stalls.
Yeah, so this time we had 2 stalls. So we had Kimmy Creations. I
was amazed by them because I had no idea how much stock they were going to bring. I was completely blown away by the amount of stock that they had. I was not expecting that. We've had people in the past, and we've been at events in the past with other stall holders, and they've never had that much stock.
Well, they're one rail.
One rail basically.
Or very skinny.
Very small sizes. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, to have such a range of things and such a range of pieces as well. So different tops, different bottoms and skirts, trousers, culottes, dresses, all that kind of range of stuff was great. And also what I appreciated, and I think a lot of other women will, is that they had a range of sizes. They didn't just have little people sizes, they had a full range up to really large sizes, and they also had a mannequin that was of a bigger size as well. They weren't all skinny mannequins, just show that actually anybody can wear these. And I will say she does know her stuff, and she was great, because I was like, oh, I'm probably going to need the big size, and she's like, no you don't, and I think I ended up with a medium. Yes. And she knows what you're talking about, and if you needed to hide bits and pieces, she's totally understood that. And I think that, it was great. They were really friendly, great people. Definitely would love to have them again, because I just thought that they really, realised that people all shapes and sizes go to dance, any kind of dance, and they need to be included in that kind of thing. So I was very impressed with them, and that they also work bloody hard to set up those stalls, because it is a lot of stuff.
Pauline seemed to do art for art.
Yes,
as well.
I really enjoy having the artwork. It just adds a different dimension on.
Yeah, and we showed some shoes as well.
Oh yes, and we had our shoe collection.
So stalls were good. So now we're on to next year. As I say, we've Spring Festival in May with Mika and Christian. You've probably seen some of their videos on YouTube, especially their teaching ones. So excellent high quality teachers. excellent performers as well, and they'll be doing a demo. Tango coming back, Wayne DJing, so can't really. Can you really say no to that? I suppose you might have regrets after if you do come into it, then you might not find teachers as good as them again. But unless you come to Nick and Deanna, of course. Nuevo Festival, that's sort of our sort of personal thing because it's all Nuevo music. So again,
and also it's the only one in the UK.
The only one in the UK.
So it's not just for us; it's for all those other people that enjoy mainly Nuevo.
Obviously, not an inclusive.
Not an inclusive event, no, because it is all Nuevo. There may, I think every well, obviously we only ran it for the first time this year, but we had the weekend of the year before.
Yeah.
I think both times there has been a traditional clanger, shall we say, where someone's accidentally dropped a traditional track.
Would that be me?
It was you, I think. But yeah, so that's quite easy when that happens. You think, oh, that's not what I expected that to be.
It's a bit like when
Doesn't matter.
It's like when you go to a trad event and they go, "Oh, just for fun, we're going to put a Nuevo song."
yeah, just for fun at the end.
Yeah. And then obviously next year's festival is pretty much already planned. We've got workshops from me and you. Sarah and Tara are going to be teaching their own workshops, one on lifts and one on a beginner's guide to Volcada as they're opening the festival. We thought after what they did this year and showing off the Welsh Tango scene and our homegrown talent here, that they deserve to stay on the festival. Eduardo's got his workshops, which I can't remember what they are. One's Readers from Nowhere.
Did you do the titles?
I did.
Yeah.
And obviously Nick and Deanna are doing Malonga, making Malonga accessible. And the other one is their Technically Freegather, because this one was Technically Together. So this is about how to adapt to different partners of different styles and things like that. We've got our music lineup. We're cheating a bit this year. We're having the same band play twice. So we're having the
very good though.
We're having Christian Calzano trio come over from Spain. So they're 3 Argentinians resident in Madrid. So they're coming over for the Friday and Saturday to play live for us. And Tango Color on the Sunday, where I'm DJing on Sunday. Wayne's back for the Saturday, and TK Vincent is on the Friday. And I need to message Goggies and get the right date for next year.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I think the last thing we have to say in this video is just a massive thank you to everybody who came to the festival. I think there was over 130 of you this time round. We would love to get that number up, so please share this around with your friends, encourage them to book on, because you'll be more than welcome. Our eventual goal is to get up to the festival about 300 people and use that massive room downstairs for the Malongas, in which case we probably need another sort of like co-headline act to teach as well. But yeah. Anyway, if you have watched this video all the way through, congratulations for sitting here for half an hour watching us sort of waffle in our sort of tired state. So this may not make any sense to anybody actually. If you can hit like us or subscribe to our YouTube channel, it'll be a massive help. We'll be releasing a video on Christmas Eve, which will be our recap of the whole year, and another one on New Year's Eve, which is our plans for next year, because we've got plenty of plans for then as well. Anyway, so as I say, thank you for watching, and we'll say goodbye because we're going to watch some Christmas films now. So, see you.
Bye.
Bye.